Hello, my name is Micah, and in this video I want to talk about this new passport-sized TN that I made, and more specifically about what's inside, because my hope is that this is an idea that you find helpful for your journaling practice and maybe gives you some fun ideas. So I made this TN myself out of this gorgeous canvas fabric. I have a video tutorial on my channel how to make these if you want to check that out. But let's get on the inside where the good stuff is, because I was noticing that I got kind of bored with what I was doing in terms of lettering. I was always kind of doing the same thing, and recently I've been also very inspired by Erin Ware. Go check her out. She's doing some fantastic journaling, beautiful lettering, and she also has some printables, so go check that out. But yeah, I wanted to diversify, I guess, my lettering. And so I have a bunch of lettering samples saved on my Pinterest, but I've realized that I like to stay in my analog bubble if I'm journaling. And so I was like, you know what? We need to get that from Pinterest onto paper. And that's what I did. I made this cute little insert, and there's a couple more I'm gonna get to in just a moment, where I just recycled some copy paper, bound it into this cute little notebook, and then printed out my most favorite lettering examples, or just alphabets. But I do think these are hand-drawn. If not, it's definitely a font that has a very handmade feel to it. And so then, yeah, I just print them out in the correct size and stick them in here. And then whenever I need a little bit of inspiration, I can just open this cute little notebook up. This one is one of my favorites for sure. I just think this is so cute and whimsical. I like the difference between sort of having the thicker strokes, but then also some of them still staying in lines like that. I think it has sort of a children's book quality to it, and to me that's a compliment. I mean that in a good way. I don't know, it has some, it has just whimsy and warmth to it. Really love this one. Yeah, so whenever I find something, I just print it out and put it in here. This is, I don't know if this is a whole set of, if that's the whole alphabet, but there's a bunch of variety in here with ideas. This is a quote, I think somebody illustrated. So it's not an alphabet, but you can still get tons of ideas from this of how to draw different types of letters and how to color them or put different effects on them. Really cool. I probably could have done with a bigger printout, but that's okay. Yeah, and then here's something a little different as well. This is just a quote somebody scribbled on top of a photo or layered on top digitally, I'm not sure. But it's this really, I don't know, really free way of writing. Maybe it was a dip pen, I'm not sure, but really cool. Just something inspiring and fun. And then I think there's one, just the way I bound the book, this ended up at the end for some reason. But yeah, just some really cute letters. This would be fun to do in watercolor, I think. That would be really neat. Just some of the shapes are so unique. Like this F, for example. So tall, and then these tiny strokes. Really fun. Or even just the combination of, doing colored letters, but then also having some be just black line. You could play with even just that idea. You don't even have to take anything else from this, Yeah, so that's my little lettering insert, but there's more. Well, this is not necessarily a reference insert, but I needed a place to stick leftover stickers from my recently acquired PET tapes. If you have PET tapes, let me know. How do you store them? Because I found that once I started cutting out these little motifs. I ended up having these like little snippets laying all over the place, and so I realized, well, if I make just a sticker book for them, then I can just cut one repeat of the design out and have ready to go and use, and then I'm not stuck with all these random bits and pieces that I have nowhere to go. But yeah, let me know. Also, if you have PET tapes, there's so many repeats on a roll. I'm not sure I'm gonna use all of mine. I mean, I love the designs. This one is all the flowers PET tape from our studio, and then I have I think this is called A Beautiful Day by Doodle. Would you be interested in doing a swap? Let me know in the comments. If you have PET tapes, we could, swap 1 or 2 repeats of our PET tapes. I think that would be kind of fun. So just let me know if you're interested in that. So yeah, this is not necessarily a reference guide, but just somewhere to stick leftover PET tape stickers. And I didn't have anywhere for this to go right now, so this may or may not stay in here. I do know, however, that I am going to have another insert in here with a reference book for my fountain pen inks. I just don't have that insert yet, so I wanted to have at least 3 in here to see how thick that would be. But similar to the lettering pieces, I also found that I was always doodling the same kinds of flowers in my journaling and in some of my illustrations. So I wanted to, I guess, diversify my flower designs. And so this insert, which is actually an official Traveler's Company insert with the Midori paper, I am collecting flower illustration ideas. And so I'm limiting myself to just one color and lines, because I can adapt these into, if I want to work with watercolor and different kinds of colors, like make this petal shape one color and then these colors, maybe these petals a different color. I can play around with that. Maybe the bottle isn't lined but is a color shape also. So I wanted to keep the reference as simple as possible so that once I adapt it to whatever project I'm working on, it's easier to see what the overall idea is, if that makes sense. So some of these are referenced, and some of these also, then I start to have my own ideas. It's like, oh, what if we take this from here and combine it with this from that, or yeah, you know how that goes. Once you start actually also this is the other thing too with Pinterest, then the reference images and these ideas, they're all sitting there passively. But once you start copying this and working with it, then you start having your own ideas because your hand starts actually doing it. And so it becomes more accessible, I guess, if that makes any sense. So yeah, some of these are referenced and some of these are my own ideas that start to come from having drawn the other ones. So yeah, here I started also doing some that are just lines. Really fun. And again, like these can look so different once you actually use different colored pencils or watercolor. Like this one, for example. Here, what I indicated with black, these shapes on top of the flower. You could do that with black if you wanted to go for a very graphic look. But this could also just indicate, well, do a darker color on top. So if the flower itself is a light shade of pink, then maybe just do it with a darker shade of pink or a purple. Or do it with a contrasting color. Do a yellow flower and then go on top of it with an orange or a pink. So yeah, I'm keeping the references just very simple because it's color and color variation and texture is not the point. The point is, how is it built? And then here are some ideas for flowers with just lines. But then again, like this could be so fun if you do the petal shapes out of watercolor and just add the little lines on top like that. So yeah, anyway, I'm sure there are people out there who have used traveler's notebooks and traveler notebook inserts for similar things. So I'm not, necessarily claiming this to be the ultra most unique idea ever, but I am excited to work in this, and I thought sharing it with you might help someone out there. And yeah, let me know if you think you're going to keep an analog reference guide of some sort, and let me know what you would like to keep references of, or idea library, I guess we could call it. I was thinking once I'm done with the flower one, it could be cool to do the same thing with trees. Different ways of illustrating and stylizing trees would be nice. But yeah, let me know what you could see yourself keeping an idea log of. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing this time with me, and I see you in the next one. Bye!